Welcome back. In the last video I showed you how virtual machines were created and stored. In this and the next few videos, I'll show you some interesting things you can do with virtual machines. We'll start with suspending and resuming a virtual machine. Let's go back to our VMware Workstation console. As you can see, I have a number of virtual machines. A couple of these are in a suspended state. This is similar to the sleep and hibernation modes in Windows. VMware shows us an image of the machine when it was suspended. If I power it back on, it resumes at the same point we left off. In this case, I was running a WAN emulator. Here's another suspended machine, in this case, Windows 7. I can start it back up too. In this case, I was using the two VMs for latency testing. Now I can pick up right where I left off. And when I'm done with this particular test, I can resuspend the machines until I'm ready for the next test. Snapshots are another useful feature of VMs. This allows you to create point-in-time capture of a virtual machine. Here I have a running Windows VM. From the VMware menu, I can select Snapshot, Take Snapshot. I then give it a name and click the Take Snapshot button. It writes the snapshot out to disk. Now let's make some changes to the VM. I'll pick a new desktop background, and I'll delete an application icon from the desktop. Now I'll go back to the VMware menu and select Snapshot, Revert to Snapshot to go back to our saved state. I get a warning that all changes since the last snapshot will be lost. The VM then restarts and is back at the point in time I took the snapshot. This can be very useful when testing or before making major changes to a system. Now let's look at cloning virtual machines. As we discussed in the last video, virtual machines are just files. Because it's easy to copy files, it's easy to clone VMs. From the VMware menu, I'll select Manage and Clone. This brings up the Clone Virtual Machine wizard. It starts by asking me the source. I can clone a current VM, or I can even clone from a snapshot. Next, it asks me the type of clone. I can do a linked clone, which is useful for things like VDI, or a full clone. I'll choose full. Finally, I give it a name and click Finish. The clone is then created. The process takes about as long as it takes to copy the files that make up the VM. Now let's start up the cloned VM along with the original. I'll switch back and forth between the two so you can see that they look just the same. In fact, there were pending Windows updates when I cloned the original VM, and those updates are now applied on each virtual machine. After the VMs boot up, you can see that the desktops are identical. But the similarities go further than that. If I look at the system names, those are identical too. If the original VM had a static network address, the clone would have had the same address. So you need to think ahead when you're working with clones. For my final trick, I'll show you how to convert a physical system to a virtual machine. Let's say my company just acquired a small company, and their accounting system was QuickBooks, running on a server. We need to archive their books and keep them around for the next 7 or 15 years, whatever the law is for data retention. Rather than stuffing the server somewhere in my data center and hoping I can find it when needed, I can convert it to a virtual machine. In the VMware Workstation console, I'll select Virtualize a Physical Machine. This brings up a wizard. We're asked for the system network address and administrator login. We then give it a name and a location, and the conversion begins. The process of converting a physical system to virtual is known as P2V, and it can take a while. I'll skip the waiting. When the conversion is done, we have a bunch of files that make up the new virtual machine. Now I can toss or repurpose the old physical server. The VM shows up in my Workstation console, and I can power it on. And I'm back in business. This is a whole lot easier than backing things up to tape and then trying to recover the data as well as the application at some point in the future. So that's a look at some ways virtualization can be used to manage systems. In the next video, I'll be looking at virtualization as a productivity tool. See you then.